wanted that initial attraction. I wanted that spark straight away. It hasn't come. And he's wearing a black suit. Black suit is not the one. I always thought to myself, I know what I want, and this is not what I wanted.
There is nothing I hate more on Married at First Sight than someone who's average looking, who goes on there and then complains bitterly that their partner is not good looking, or they have, a specific type, or they, I want this, that, and the other. No, you're not at the supermarket. Even if you're in the supermarket, at times you don't find what you want on the shelf. You have to compromise and get something else. So please sit your bum somewhere. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 8, Episode 18. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We're still on our way to 1,000 subs. Thanks to everyone who subscribed. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, leave a comment, and definitely share. Oftentimes you see a couple on Married at First Sight, whichever country it is, and you question whether the experts actually really did a lot of research. And then part of me believes that people show up with their representative. What I mean is they bring their best self to the experts, even in the forms that they fill in. They're not genuinely honest. And then once they've been cast, they start showing who they really are. The idea that Mark could be cast to be married to Sean does not make sense to me. Yes, it's nice to get someone to marry someone who's outgoing, who'll bring them out of their shell. But the fact that he's very superficial and had to name drop within the first few seconds of him speaking does not make sense. The fact that he talked about his mummy bringing him cooked meals because he can't cook and having to clean and do his laundry for him does not make sense. Even if Sean likes to cook, to clean, is handy with his hands, that does not mean he wants to marry a baby, in the sense that does not mean he wants to be, his partner's keeper. It's not fair to him. Of all the people they could have matched Sean with, I like Sean. From what I've seen, I really like him. But I think Mark is very superficial. I think Mark is on the show to be famous. Just like JJ, I think they are, two of a kind. They're two peas in a pod. I think Mark should have been cast with someone like Ella, someone who's attention seeking like him, and that would have been a train wreck. I don't think it's fair to have cast him to get married to Sean, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, back in London, they're still continuing with the, meet the in-laws. Oh my God, I remember saying Ross and Thomas had a lot of potential when I put them on my favorite list, and I said they just needed time, they just needed to be patient with one another. Seeing them now is like day and night. They are now so cute, so adorable. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm a happy mummy. They're talking about their family coming, and so they're excited about that. Ross brings her mom and dad because they are the two most important people to her, and she's very excited. And Thomas was very sort of nervous when he opened the door. He didn't know what to do because Ross was hugging her mom for quite a while, and then Ross's dad had to sort of step forward and sort of give him a hug and greet him. And then when his friend came, this was the first time you actually saw him release and let go, because he was so ecstatic seeing him jump. Even Ross was surprised, so that was cute to see. And then when they sat down for their meal, because they had been cooking this mince or whatever they were cooking, they could have browned it off a bit. They should have used a bigger saucepan. Oh my God, I'm nitpicky now. Anyway, and then Thomas was saying, Ross is very open, and at times I worry that she's too open. I hope she doesn't discuss our intimacy with her family. And then Ross started, talking, and you could see he wanted to die. He was so cute. He was covering his face. Even Ross said, if the floorboards could open and swallow him up, he would have, and it was cute to see that he was being awkward, not because, he felt uncomfortable, but in a good way, not like he did at the wedding. And I like their progress as a couple. I like how happy and comfortable they are around each other. I like how relaxed, it seems. And so, oh my God, I really love them as a couple, and I'm so happy to see their progress. I feel like if they continue on this path, they could be one of the success stories from the season. That's my opinion. So next family to get a visit is Nathaniel and Ella. And apparently Nathaniel's friend sent us a message saying they've had a family emergency, so they're not able to come. I think Nathaniel, as soon as he found out about the flirting, told them not to come. I don't think he was all in, so I think that just gave him an excuse for him not to invite anyone. Ella's friend came, and so Nathaniel stepped out of the room and sort of left them to just visit, which I don't understand. If he really wanted to be involved, at least he could have sat down with them, had something to eat, and then he could have left. I think he's already checked out and is just waiting for an excuse to completely sort of move out of the situation and move on with his life. Ella was complaining, she didn't get what she asked for. He's calling her childish, this, that, and the other. And it's like, also bring up the fact that you're flirting with JJ, please. Also bring up the fact that you're flirting with JJ. Don't just criticize Nathaniel. Also say what you did wrong. Because you keep asking him, am I sexy? Am I sexy? Am I sexy? That's what's putting him off. That's what he's not really making the effort. Apparently there's rumors that he told the producers he didn't want to get married to someone trans, but hey, it is what it is. I think they should have matched him, because he said he goes for the person, not the sex, their gender. So I think they should have matched him with Sean. I think that would have been an amazing couple, but that's just me. Ella's friend is sort of saying, you didn't get what you expected, you not being treated fairly, more or less to say like Ella's the victim. And it's like, well, what did she expect? If she had come in, settled down, and hadn't been all over the place and hadn't been pushing for what she was used to, this might have worked. Nathaniel might have eventually fallen in love with her. I think Nathaniel, although they say he was told that he was marrying a trans person, I think he fell in love with Ella's, exterior, their physical appearance. But then once they started talking, I think that put him off. And the more they went through, the more put off he was, up until he found out she was a stripper, and then he checked out. And he continued through the process just because maybe the producers were pushing him. That's my opinion. And then you have Mark, oh my God, drama queen number 2, going on about the wedding and how, he has these expectations, and then decides to show his family his outfit and realizes that his shirt is the wrong shirt. And it's like, if you were that particular, if you were that concerned about what you're wearing, why didn't you check it before you left your house or wherever you were, wherever you spent the night? Why wait until the last minute? This was all done for drama. Just because. How can you say I'm not getting married because I don't have the shirt that I want? Are you more concerned about the shirt, or are you concerned about the person that you're marrying? What impression are you trying to make to that person? Because first impressions count. So you sitting there and crying over a shirt, how do you feel that person is going to feel when they see that? That's too much drama for one person. Because if you can freak out like that over a shirt, God knows what will happen about anything else. What if food is burnt in the house? What if he can't afford to give you the lifestyle that you need? How much more are you going to freak out? I didn't like that. Whereas you have Sean, who's very calm, he's getting ready, he's excited, he's nervous, and it's like day and night, really. It's like day and night. I really don't like it. I feel sorry for Sean, because I don't feel he should have been matched with Mark. I think Mark is just there for the drama and to be on TV, and he knows that he's one of the last couples to get married, so he wants to make the biggest impression. But anyway, I digress. So you have Ella meet up with Tasha to sort of have a conversation about her relationship with Nathaniel. I think this was staged, in the sense that, what do I mean? I think because Nathaniel had a conversation with his friend, and his friend said it's unacceptable that Ella is busy flirting with somebody else's husband when she should be trying to work on her marriage. So I think they had a confrontation, and because the producers are trying to make Ella the victim to whatever Nathaniel did, this is why they had Ella go and speak to Tasha, because it doesn't make sense that after her conversation with her friend, she would suddenly be all this teary and, oh, I'm fed up, this is the end for us and stuff. I think Ella and Nathaniel had a fight, and then after their fight, Ella was sent to go and speak to Tasha. That way she would come out as the victim, as the one who was aggrieved because Nathaniel, hasn't been treating her great. But I don't know whether they'll show the fight. But something is a bit off with that conversation between Tasha and Ella. We're not getting the full details and the full context of why they needed that conversation. And then you have the wedding. So Sean is there, he's happy, and Mark is late because apparently his shirt hadn't arrived. So the minister or the pastor or the priest had to come and apologize to say one of the grooms is not yet here. And his sister-in-law just said, Mark always likes to make an appearance, so I'm not surprised. And then he eventually walks down, and it doesn't look any different. He's just wearing a white shirt. I can't even see the skull head, so I don't know why he was making such a big deal. Only for him to get to the altar and say, oh, he's wearing a black suit. We're not at a funeral. We're not this. I don't know whether I'm impressed. I wanted them to to give me what I asked for. I want everything on my list to be checked. And it's like, you couldn't find everything on your list in the real world, but somehow the experts are supposed to be magicians and find what you needed. Make it make sense? I really hate that. Make it make sense. You couldn't find your ideal partner in the real world. You had to come to the show to get a partner. And then when you get there, you are all up in arms because you want them to meet every single check thing on your list. You want them to check everything on your list. Go sit down somewhere, little boy. Anyway, and so given how he looks, the fact that he's making such a big hoo-ha about it, I don't get it. Do you understand what I mean? If he was this drop-dead gorgeous person and, the supermodel with this great physique and all, then I could hear him kicking off and saying, I want someone who's like that. And I don't get why the average-looking people are the ones that are always complaining that they want the stunning people. And it's like, go for someone average like you. Sit down somewhere. Sorry, I don't feel like being charitable today. So you have Nathaniel and Ella sit down and have a conversation, and Nathaniel says, after speaking to his friend, he feels like, he's still got a problem with the fact that Ella was flirting with JJ and also might have been talking about JJ with the girls, about how she felt about JJ. And so he says, I don't have the fight within me, meaning I want time, I want space. And Ella is more or less, so am I. I think this conversation took place before the conversation with Tasha. That's the impression that I get, that Tasha was actually consoling her after the fact. But the editing makes it seem like Ella already wanted to break up with Nathaniel and Nathaniel just, beat her to it. That's the impression that I get. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I think the producers don't want, or Ella doesn't want to come across as though she's been dumped, so she wants to make it seem like she was already considering dumping Nathaniel. It's just the words came out of Nathaniel's mouth first. That's the impression that I got. So you have Sean speaking to Mark's family, and they eventually reveal, because they first ask him, how old did he tell you he was? And when he says 26, they're all on the floor. They're hysterical because they know he's lying. He's 10 years older than that. And so they then reveal the truth about his age. As I said, I think Sean is amazing. Unless, he's putting his best foot forward and the truth is going to come out later. He seems great. So, he eventually has a conversation with Mark, and Mark says, he's not at where he would expect himself to be at 36. And this is why he always says he's 26, because he doesn't feel he's accomplished as much as he would want to. But I think he just pulled that out of his backside. I don't think that was the real reason. I think he likes to be the younger person in a relationship, and because Sean said he was 31, he decided to make himself younger. He didn't want to be the older person in the relationship. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. They seemed to do a lot better towards the end of the wedding than they did initially. And Sean was honest and said, he had an instant attraction to Mark. As soon as he saw him, Mark was and he said, oh, I feel more comfortable now than I did. And it's just like, make it out. This is why it's important on Married at First Sight not to make some comments that you'll later regret, because how do you think Sean is going to feel when he sees everything you were saying about him before the two of you got married? Anyway, I digress. And then you have Ella with one of them old phones, those old Nokia phones before the smart screens, sort of texting JJ and sort of, flirting with him. And it's like, when did they get the phones to start flirting? I think the producers gave them the phone. I think the producers are encouraging this drama because they haven't had as much drama from Nathaniel as they wanted. So they are trying to push the boat. And it shows how selfish Ella is. I am sorry if you're an Ella stanner, but this is the truth. Because she knows for a fact that JJ is in a marriage with Bianca, who is struggling to make her marriage work. So the idea that she would want to be the other woman and cause this rift in a marriage that is already fractured doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. She is at fault. No matter how good an edit they give her, Ella is at fault for how her marriage with Nathaniel turned out. And Nathaniel must have smelt a rat, and he was right to smell a rat, because this just proves his point that there was no point in him going all in. All Ella wants is a fling, and that's it. Because if she really was in it for a marriage, she wouldn't be behaving the way she's behaving. She wouldn't be flirting with somebody else's husband. But that's just me. So you then have JJ sit down with poor Bianca and say, oh, I want room, I want space. And it's like, tell her the truth. I'm not feeling you. I've decided I want Ella. And keep it moving. And I don't know why, if he likes, people that are modified, why doesn't he just go to a factory and make himself, his ideal woman? Why? He's got some insecurities that are causing him to be after these superficial people. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it, because if he really was after someone with depth, Bianca is it, but he's not after that. He's just after someone as shallow as he is. And this is going to play out like that couple last season. Was it Whitney and that tattooed guy? I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. We'll be here with our popcorn ready to watch and just, judge them as usual. But anyway, I digress. I can't wait for tomorrow's episode because it seems Nathaniel's sad enough. We'll see how that plays out. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're still on our way to 1,000 subs. And please click on the video at the end to watch my review for episode 17. Bye, everyone.